Thank you. Okay, so we will now move on to the types of the correlation. So we have three types of the correlation. Okay, so we have type 1, type 2, and then type 3. Okay, so type 1, the relationship is positive, negative, no, and perfect. So if two related variables are such that when one increases, the other also increases. So the relationship is um, if you add something to one variable, the effect of that variable to the other one is positive, which means it's going to increase as well. So if two variables are such that when one increases, the other decreases. So this is only applicable for variables that are independent. When we say independent, both of them relies with each other. So we have two variables, but both of them has an effect with the other one. Unlike what we did last week, we analyze one independent variable and then one or more dependent variable, which means only one is the one that is not being affected, then the others are being affected. On this one, both of the variables can affect each other in type 1. So in type 2, we have the linear and then nonlinear. So normally for linear and nonlinear, when you plot it on a graph, it tends to be a perfect line. When we say a perfect line, um, the value of the other one, when it increases, the other one also increases going to the right. And then the other variable is going up if we put it on a graph. So when plotted on a graph, it is not a straight line. When we say it's not a straight line, meaning to say the values are scattered. So that is the one that is nonlinear. So here are the example. So correlation 1, straight line. Correlation -1, it's a straight line but it's going to the left. And then correlation 0 is scattered, meaning to say they don't have relationship with each other. If the value is zero point 0.8, it is scattered linear, but the values are scattered. So if we have a value that lies on zero point 0.2, it's also scattered, but it's not linear. It's mostly like 0, but the values when you plot it, it differs on each other. And then we also have correlation 0. So this one is also a correlation 0. So it's normally scattered. So we have now type 3. So type 3 is composed of simple, multiple, and partial. So simple, multiple, and partial, it means that it's two independent and one dependent variable. So one dependent and more than one independent variable for multiple. And then for partial, we have one dependent variable and more than one independent variable, but only one independent variable is considered and the other independent variable are considered a constant. So in partial, if you consider one independent variable as constant, that means you're not going to change the value of that variable. Only one independent variable needs to be changed. Okay, so let's now do it in Excel. So I'm going to discuss it first, and then after I've discussed it on the PowerPoint, I'm going to do it real time in Excel so that we would see the application of it. So what we are going to do, we are going to have three variables for this one. So we will name it A, B, and C. So it's actually the same procedure on what we did before. We just have to go to the data analysis tab in Excel. Okay, so let me just